Welcome back into SportsSource.tv. This segment brought to you by Phil Comple, Fine Homes and Land. Check out this imposing European traditional 2-story basement, stacked stone, stucco home, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 4,000 plus square feet. When you want a home or when you want to sell your home, trust East Tennessee's top residential realtor, Phil Comple, Fine Homes and Land. Okay. Gentlemen, this week the Birmingham News unveiled its annual preseason All-SEC team. That team is voted on by the 14 sports information directors from around the conference. In other words, the 14 guys who vote in the coaches poll every week. A bit of a surprise, their first team had, on the offensive line, Dylan Wiseman. Now, a lot of people are crediting Coleman Thomas as the guy with the most upside for Tennessee. Dylan Wiseman made it. Josh Dobbs, first team All-SEC quarterback. I'm not surprised to see him on an All-SEC team. Wouldn't be surprised to see him second team. I could see third team easily. First team caught my eye because when you look at what Chad Kelly did last year at Ole Miss, cue the graphic, it's kind of hard to compare the two. Cue the graphic. There we go. Dobbs ran for about 171 more yards. Kelly threw for 1,800 more yards, 16 more touchdown passes, though he did have 8 more interceptions. And they ran for about the same number of rushing touchdowns. Your thoughts on Josh Dobbs as your first team All-SEC quarterback?
Gentlemen? I would go with that if that's just in the Eastern Division. You know, and I think some of the cynics would say on Josh, and of course I'm a big Josh Dobbs fan, some of the passes he threw were so bad they couldn't be caught or intercepted. So that's why that number was a little bit lower. But no, I think clearly Chad Kelly is the best, you know, and has the best numbers for All-SEC quarterback in the, in the league.
I was getting ready to defend Dobbs based on his running threat, but I had no idea Kelly had that kind of running stats.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs' career passing yards is barely more than Chad Kelly's last year. So I don't know the case right now for Josh Dobbs over Chad Kelly unless you're projecting that Ole Miss takes a step back with some of the players they lost and that Josh Dobbs in Tennessee, their offense takes a big step forward. But that's still, I think, more based on running the football than passing.
Yeah. It's surprising to me. Although you could make the argument maybe Dobbs has a little bit more weaponry around him. They don't have to rely on Dobbs as much as Ole Miss has to rely on Kelly, but still that doesn't detract from what Kelly does. So I would agree that second team, it wouldn't have surprised me at all. Right. But ahead of him, yeah, I think that's a little bit of a shock.
Obviously, the sports information directors were deterred by those 13 interceptions that Chad.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knew that weighed so heavily with sports information
they had
directors?
A real problem with it. I think that Josh Dobbs clearly can be first team All-SEC.
Sure,
I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league. Putting him there number 1 in a preseason when you're just basing it off what you've seen the past season, I would think Kelly would be the guy that gets the nod. But
and sometimes on voting for these things, I think that if you can't vote for a running back from Tennessee because LSU
and Jalen Hurd wound up second on second team,
or if you can't vote for a wide receiver, or if you can't vote here, you look for a position where Tennessee needs somebody. We'll give him the vote.
Right. If you're thinking Tennessee's going to win the East, Ole Miss isn't going to win the West.
Right.
Is that part of it? Could be.
Yeah, there's a lot of team aspect to the quarterback position for sure. And it could be that off the field, Josh Dobbs is very well regarded, and off the field before Ole Miss really, but Chad Kelly's had some issues off the field.
Yeah, he has. Whereas Dobbs, as you say, he's the perfect.
Yeah.
He's exactly what you want in terms of the face of your program. Former U.S. Army All-American punter Tommy Townsend transferring from Tennessee. Trevor Daniel made the big leap forward last year, looked spectacular, became a weapon.
Yes.
As I always say with kickers, when they've had a bad year or when they've had a good year, you don't know what you're going to get the next year because they can be a little kooky in the head. It's more true of place kickers than punters, but still, Trevor Daniel, you're now having to ride him. I mean, I think you went into it saying, okay, you're counting on him, but if he sprains an ankle or something, you're no longer going to have the former high school All-American sitting there ready to come in. You can't keep everybody in this day and age, but your thoughts on Tommy Townsend leaving? A concern, or you're not going to freak out over a backup punter?
Not going to freak out over a backup punter. I think Trevor Daniel was really good. I can certainly understand Townsend with the credentials. He came in wanting to play somewhere, so wish him well, but I don't think this is a big deal.
Yeah. natural attrition at the position. I mean, and it's not just this coming up season. Wouldn't you be waiting 2 years to play if you're Townsend? I mean, don't you feel like it either now or never if you're going to transfer?
Unless Daniel goes pro early. All right, nobody freak out.
no
on
reason
Townsend.
to freak out. If there's an injury, obviously, then you freak out.
Then you freak out. Yeah. All right, very good. When we come back, a pair of national websites. It's summer, so everybody's doing their Mount Rushmore lists. 2 national websites created their Mount Rushmore lists for Tennessee football. Did they get it right? We'll look at it. Come on back on the Sports Source.